How's it going, everybody? My name is LuckyBunz, and in today's video we're going to be breaking down all of the events for the month of December in Pokemon Go. Now with that being said, as always, if you guys do end up enjoying this video, please make sure to smash that like button down below. It helps me out a ton with the YouTube algorithm. Now before we get started with the content for December, I do also want to go over the new season bonuses. Two in particular, we're going to be getting guaranteed extra large candy back for trading Pokemon if you are level 31 or higher, and then we're also going to get an increased chance to get extra large rare candy from 5-star raids if you do them in person. So that's actually a pretty cool bonus. I believe there's already an increased rate to get them from 5-star raids if you do them in person, but I don't know how much more of a chance or how much more extra large rare candy we're going to be getting now from raids. That's going to be interesting to see because Niantic, it's, I don't know, they're usually really particular in their wording. So next up, we're going to talk about the Shadow Legendary Pokemon. So there's two Shadow Legendary Pokemon, right? We have the one from Giovanni and then the one that's in raid battles. Now specifically focusing on the one for Giovanni, this new Shadow Legendary has not been announced yet. This should get announced soon, but you know, sometimes there's like a lull period in between like one Shadow Legendary to another. As of right now, there has been no announcement for a new Shadow Legendary Pokemon, so it's still going to be Regigigas if you guys decide to use your Super Rocket Radar. Now on top of that, we're also going to have the Shadow Legendary Pokemon from raid battles, which is typically on weekends, and that is going to be Zapdos. Now in terms of meta relevance for Shadow Zapdos, I wouldn't actually recommend investing into these Pokemon. Zekrom or Xurkitree are going to be much better alternatives, and you can lucky trade both of those Pokemon, so I mean they could be a lot cheaper too. And the only real incentive, in my opinion, to hunt Shadow Zapdos would just be the possibility of a shiny Shadow. And I mean, if you guys want to do that, by all means go for it. Next up, let's talk about the Research Breakthrough Pokemon. So we're going to have 4 new Pokemon in the Research Breakthrough. We're going to have Galarian Mr. Mime, Galarian Weezing, Jangmo-O, Lapras, and then we're going to have 2 repeats, Furfrou and Goomy. Next up, let's talk about the Legendary Raids for the month of December. Every single Pokemon I'm about to talk about also does have their shiny form available, and these rotation cycles are going to be from 10 a.m. to 10 a.m. your local time. So the first Pokemon that we're going to talk about is arguably one of the most exciting Pokemon, one of my personal favorites, Reshiram, and this is going to be available from December 1st to December 9th. Now this is currently the best Fire-type attacker in the game with Fusion Flare, but unfortunately it doesn't look like we're actually going to be able to get that move this time around in raid battles. I would still strongly recommend raiding for this Pokemon though, because if you do end up getting a good IV spread, you can always Elite TM it later, and trust me, I've actually done this myself on both Reshiram and Zekrom. Actually, no, I take that back. I've only done it on Reshiram because I had a 93% lucky that I had powered up but didn't have Fusion Flare. I Elite TM'd it. It's totally worth it. Now following Reshiram, we're going to have its counterpart Zekrom from December 9th to December 16th. This is currently the second best Electro-type attacker in the game non-Shadow. And similar to Reshiram, it doesn't look like it's going to be getting its signature move, Fusion Bolt, but once again, I would strongly recommend raiding for this Pokemon. Same reasons that I talked about Reshiram. The extra large candy you're also going to accumulate for both Reshiram and Zekrom will be really important later down the line. So basically when it comes down to the first 2 weeks of December, do not sleep on either of these Pokemon. Now we do actually have a third Pokemon that I would also recommend not sleeping on, and that's going to be Kyurem from December 16th to December 23rd. This is currently the 8th best Pokemon in the Master League before the new season update, so we're going to have a lot of move changes coming into effect here. I don't know if it's going to maintain its spot as number 8, it might go down, it might go up, but the moveset that you want to have on it is going to be Dragon Breath plus Glaciate and Dragon Claw. Glaciate is an exclusive move, and as of right now, it doesn't look like it's going to be having it during this rotation as well, so like the other 2 legendary Pokemon from Unova, I would still recommend raiding for this, but this one's a little bit different, right? It doesn't have like as much relevance in the meta, but its black and white forms are most likely going to be coming out soon according to some leaks that we've seen. There's a possibility that these forms are going to be changeable forms, so they're not going to be like different Pokemon that you catch. You're going to have to like transform your Kyurem into its black form or into its white form, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, given a lot of the Pokemon that we've seen in the past, but you know, it's not always like that. Sometimes they're a little bit different, but in this case, it does seem like it's going to be going that route. So again, guys, hunt down your Kyurem, try to get a hundo, and hopefully you can just use that hundo to transform it into its black form or its white form. And our final Pokemon in rotation is going to be Regigigas from December 23rd to December 31st. This Pokemon you can probably skip unless you want the shiny. There is no other reason to raid this. Now with the legendary Pokemon out of the way, let's move on over to our Mega Raids, and once again, every single Pokemon that I'm about to talk about does have their shiny form enabled. So the first Pokemon is going to be Mega Scizor from December 1st to December 9th. This actually has great typing for candy bonuses, so I would recommend it for that reason, in addition to the fact that it's also one of the best bug type attackers in raids right now. That being said though, it is actually ranked below Mega Pinsir, so if you guys already have a Mega Pinsir, that one is the preferred bug type attacker to go with, and not to mention we're also going to be getting Mega Heracross at some point, most likely next year. I feel like we're going to wrap up all of the Mega forms next year, so if you guys want to hold out for Mega Heracross, I would just recommend doing that. I personally have a shiny that I'm holding on to from GoFest this past year, which I want to Mega, so that's going to be exciting. Next up, we're going to have Mega Altaria from December 9th to December 16th. Once again, another great Pokemon for candy bonuses if you get it to Mega Level 3. This one will function as a Dragon and Fairy type Pokemon, so it's a really cool bonus to have. Now following that, we're going to have Mega Obama Snow from December 16th to December 23rd. Once again, another Pokemon that has a great typing for candy bonuses, Grass and Ice typing. So yeah, so far we've had a lot of great Pokemon for candy bonuses. In terms of meta relevance, maybe not so much. We're going to have one final Pokemon that's going to be actually somewhat meta relevant, and that's going to be Mega Glalie from December 23rd to December 31st. This is currently the best Ice type Mega in the game right now. But there are also a lot of other normal and shadow Pokemon in the Ice type category that do outclass this Pokemon even in its Mega form. Now to wrap up the Megas though, I always like to provide some general information for any new or returning players watching this video. So you only need to evolve these, Mega Evolve these, once before getting access to their cooldown period moving forward. So basically my recommendation is always to do at least 1 to 2 raids, get that initial Mega Energy, and then you're also going to get free charge TMs at the same time. You Mega Evolve your Pokemon, you wait for the cooldown period and just kind of work on that slowly over time. That's the free-to-play method. If you get more energy, that means you can Mega Evolve it even faster, get it to Mega Level 3, and then just use it for future calm days. And then finally, we are going to have Raid Hour every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. your local time. Whichever Pokemon is currently in the Legendary rotation is going to be the one featured that Wednesday. Now let's take a look at the upcoming events for the month of December. We actually do have a lot of pretty interesting events, some that are less interesting, but let's go through those right now. So the first one that we're going to take a look at is going to be on December 3rd. That is going to be Hiswain Samurott Raid Day. Like always guys, the raid days are worth doing. You get 5 free raid passes that you can use during those event days from 2 to 5 p.m. I believe is the event time. So definitely try to participate in that one. The shiny is going to be released for the first time, and this is the only way to currently get the shiny in game for the Hiswain form. Next up, we're going to have the Along the Routes event from December 5th to December 8th. I'm not a big fan of routes or even party play right now. Like, those features have just been really messy ever since they've been released into Pokemon Go, and I don't have big expectations for this one. Routes are not entirely fixed even, so I mean, they're better than they were when they first released, so maybe this will be fine during this event, but if it's anything like the recent party play event that we just had, there's not going to be a whole lot of interest, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Following that, we're going to have the Adamant Time event from December 11th to December 15th. I really have no idea what kind of Pokemon we're supposed to expect from that. I know that there is like an Adamant Orb that you get after you beat Dialga or Palkia in the main series games for Sinnoh, so I'm not sure if that's kind of linked to that. It might be. Anyways, our next event is going to be December Calm Day from December 16th to December 17th. This is going to be a 2-day event. And I'm putting together a full breakdown video going over this one, so stay tuned for that. We're going to talk about every single Pokemon as meta relevant, all the Pokemon from last year and its meta relevant. It's going to be a pretty big video, let me just say that. Next up, we're going to have the Winter Holiday event Part 1 from December 18th to December 25th. These are pretty good events, I would have to say. Like, they're not as good as the Halloween event, but they're still somewhat interesting. I mean, it's actually more of a hit or miss, I'm not gonna lie. It really is more of a hit or miss because the holiday events in the past, like we used to get free incubators or like one-use incubators. I think they took that away. And there really haven't been like a lot of great Pokemon. There's probably gonna be like some costume Pokemon if you wanna hunt down, but I don't know, maybe I just don't have high hopes for this one entirely. The next event is going to be on December 23rd. We're going to have another raid day, and hopefully I don't butcher this Pokemon's name. It's Wiredeer, I think. If I said that wrong, just let me know in the comment section down below. And then we're going to have the Winter Wonderland event on December 23rd to December 24th. They always kind of do these really small events like right before Christmas. I don't think the Winter Wonderland event is going to be that crazy, but after that we're going to have the final event, which is going to be, of course, the Winter Holiday event Part 2 from December 25th to December 31st to wrap up the year. And that's basically it, guys, for 2023 of Pokemon Go. There is a lot of upcoming events that I'm kind of excited about, but also have no idea what to expect either, so I don't know, December is kind of like up in the air right now. We're not done yet though, we still gotta go through the spotlight hours, so these are gonna take place every Tuesday from 6 to 7 p.m. your local time. Every Pokemon I'm about to talk about also does have their shiny form available. This isn't always the case, but this time around it is. Starting off on December 5th, we're gonna have Feebas with the featured bonus being 2x Catch Candy. Now when evolved into Milotic, this does actually have some play in the Ultra League, so if you guys do want to hunt down a PvP/IV spread for the Ultra League, or possibly even the Great League as well, that would be recommended. In terms of the bonus though, 2x Catch Candy, I mean, it's kind of whatever, honestly not that crazy. If you want to combine it with something else, maybe like your stacked research for just extra candy, you could do that, but otherwise I wouldn't worry about it too much. On December 12th, we're going to have Seal as the featured Pokemon with the special bonus being 2x Transfer Candy, so like normal guys, create a search tag, group together all of your rare Pokemon, extra legendary Pokemon leading up to this event, and bonus points if you mirror trade them with someone beforehand, and given that we're going to get extra large candy guaranteed if you're level 31 or higher, I would highly recommend this. Now when it comes down to Seal as a Pokemon featured, when evolved into Dugong, this does actually have some good play in the Great League. However, it does require 2 legacy moves in order to be relevant, which is kind of a high requirement even if you end up getting an ideal PvP/IV spread, so I mean, when it comes down to it, yes, you could invest into this, but with the recent shakeup and a lot of Pokemon getting access to Icy Wind, maybe hold off on that one. On December 19th, we're going to have Snorunt as the featured Pokemon with a special bonus being 2x Evolve experience, so in order to maximize this bonus, I would recommend gathering about 70 evolutions in a search tag per Lucky Egg, and if you can, try to coordinate any friendship level ups during this time as well. Now when evolved into Frostlass from Snorunt, this is actually a pretty solid Pokemon to use in the Great League. It just recently got some new buffs as well this season, so it should be even more exciting. And then you also have Snorunt evolving into Glalie for the Mega Evolution. This will be a great opportunity to hunt down your hundo. Now our final Pokemon that we're going to talk about is going to be Vanillite on December 26th with a special bonus being 2x Catch Stardust. So when it comes down to the bonus, like while this is nice, 2x Catch Stardust is great, I don't think it's actually worth using star pieces on. Just my take as a free-to-play player, there are just more beneficial times to use them, like Calm Day with 3x Catch Stardust, or at the end of a GBL season, which is upcoming soon, so get ready to use your star piece on that if you guys made it to rank 20. Now overall though, this Pokemon is really difficult to catch. It's not meta relevant at all, and the only saving grace is a possibility to get it shiny. That's it. That's the only thing that I would go for. I wouldn't even catch these things, like I would just shiny check them. If you get the shiny, obviously catch it, but if you don't, I would just run away, move on to the next cluster spawn. So overall, in my opinion, December is looking like it's going to have a great start to the month, which is really nice to see. The last few weeks of Pokemon Go have been kind of lackluster in my opinion, so this is actually just really refreshing. It's also nice to see that during the busiest part of the holidays, like towards the end of the month, we're not going to have too many FOMO events. And I think this is going to be a really nice month to transition into the new year without feeling too overwhelmed. That's just my opinion on everything though. As always, I would love to hear what you guys are thinking in the comment section down below, but if you're still looking for some more content, I'm going to recommend these 2 videos right here. And before you go, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you all real soon in the next one.